Video 4, now we're going to look at how we actually pass this information through the nerves or neurons and across the synapses. The synapses are joined between two neurons. So, the structure of it. We have dendrites, we have an axon, and we have a cell body. So the cell body is the big bit, which contains the nucleus. The dendrite is the bit that receives the impulse, and the axon is the bit which passes it on. Okay. They are sent as electrical impulses. It's not like a current going down a wire, but it's an electrical phenomenon, and it's very, very fast. Dendrites receive the message, goes through the cell body to the axon. Now in really long ones, we've got a myelin sheath, which is basically like a fatty layer, which insulates it and makes it go faster. Okay, and then it reaches the axon terminals. That's the end of it, and they have chemicals in them that contain neurotransmitters, which are chemical signals which pass across the gap to the next nerve. Okay, this gap is called the synapse. So they travel across that synapse to the dendrite of the next neuron, because we're going from one to the next. Okay. Now, be careful when we're talking about here. We're passing messages along, but the neurons themselves do not move. And we've also got to be careful about talking about how a message is passed within a nerve or a neuron and between them. So within a neuron, it's going from the dendrite to the axon, and then it's an electrical phenomenon. In the synapse, that gap, it's going from the axon of one to the dendrite of another, but that's where it's a chemical phenomenon. Chemicals are moving. Okay? They allow, through this system, the movement of impulses that send a signal. The only thing that is actually physically moving are the neurotransmitters in the synapse, which is a tiny little gap. So in that synapse, what we've got is these. So this bit on the right is the axon where we're sending it. Those little circles, that's your neurotransmitter packages. When a message comes along, it says release them. They go out into the gap, which is called the synapse, go across to the other side, they're picked up, and that sets up a message, and it whooshes then along the next one. Okay. We do recycle the used ones. So here we go in action. Little triangles of the neurotransmitter, we recycle them, impulse comes along, and there they go again. To send the signal to the central nervous system, okay, what we're going to be doing is having a stimulus, receptor, sensory neuron sends it to the central nervous system. Okay. Then from the central nervous system, we're sending it back along a motor neuron and going out. That signal doesn't just go to one relay neuron though, it's actually going to go to all different parts of the central nervous system to decide upon a response. If something goes wrong, then we get sensory loss. So we might be complete sensory loss, such as blindness, or it might be things like where you get a colour deficiency, okay? Where when people talk about colour blindness, it's not that they're blind, it's just haven't got the same degree of colour perception as other people, okay? So if you have good colour vision, then the picture of the fruit on the left, you've got lots of different colours. If you've got red-green deficient, then there's much less difference. Of course, if you're watching this and you actually have a colour deficiency, then they probably look the same to you.